update on the injuries at all? I know that you ruled some guys out last night.
Yeah, everyone looks like they're ready to roll. People who've traveled, so Eccles is on track. Elijah Moore's on track. And I think for the most part, that's it.
How was the trip, and just kind of what, I know you talked about this a little bit, but what challenges does this present, this kind of trip?
The big thing is discipline. I thought the support staff and everybody involved to make this thing happen has been absolutely fantastic. I feel like we've knocked it out the park with regards to preparation and doing everything we can for the guys to be their best on Sunday. And now it's just a matter of just stick to the plan, trust the performance staff, and if we do that, we'll be bouncing off the walls on Sunday.
Are you guys kind of in a bubble here, or are you guys exploring anything tomorrow?
I think the only thing we're doing tomorrow is we're going to go to the stadium and walk through. Otherwise, just trying to extend the day, stay on our feet, stay outside, and acclimate ourselves to the time change.
It was obviously a pretty good game for Zach last week. Rookie of the week, I think, is what he earned the honors of. How do you get him to continue that? Like, how do you get him to stay focused on, okay, now build off of this instead of, kind of 2 steps forward and maybe 1 back?
Yeah, that's where I think he's phenomenal, is his process. He takes the good with the bad and vice versa, and he's just always trying to find ways to get better. So he's had a really good week of practice. He again, the every week the emphasis for him is footwork, eyes, progression. Footwork, eyes, progression, and as long as he can stick with that, he'll continually get better. Like the off-schedule stuff that we saw, you really can't teach some of the stuff that he just does. He naturally, instinctively does. But the footwork, the eyes, the progression, that's where he's going to get better. That's where he can learn how to play quarterback in this league, and that's where he'll start to pick up the game, and things will start slowing down, and he'll just get better from it.
He said to us after the game, Robert, that the first drive, the Michael Carter touchdown drive, he could feel the tension lift off the offense especially. How much do you think that's going to help now? Just he's always had confidence, but just kind of building off some success.
You hope it translates, but that's a young group. We've talked about it before. When you have a young group and they have early success, you never know what it can snowball into. They become invincible. You guys were all young once. We jump off a roof, didn't think twice about it, right? But it's the same thing. They get the ball rolling, they get confidence, and all their athleticism just pops out, and you just see the speed elevate. And I felt like that's what you saw, especially in the second half in all 3 phases. Starting fast is a big deal for these young bucks. But at the same time, if we can just get the ball rolling, whether it's in the first quarter, second quarter, I feel like good things can happen.
JFM getting an extension. Why was that a priority for the organization?
JFM's a stud. He since the day we've walked in here, when we first got here, we studied all our players, and the one guy that stood out to us was JFM. Obviously among other guys, but he stood out because we didn't know anything about JFM, and they're like, man, he can really take off. We felt like he'd be a great fit for our system and what we ask out of our defensive line, and he has done nothing but work. He's been a tremendous leader, and then you see his play on the football field. He's absolutely dominant at times, and he first play of overtime, he tackled Derrick Henry with the tight end's back. I mean, it was just shows some sheer dominance, and he hasn't even scratched the surface of where we think he can go within the system. So, when you have guys who do things the right way, you have guys who are leaders in the locker room, and they produce to his level. Credit to Joe finding him off the waiver wire, and Aaron Whitecotton to work with them, and those are the guys that we want to pay, and so JFM is deserving of it, and we couldn't be happier to have it done.
When did you kind of, because he plays that hybrid role where he's outside then he moves inside. I mean, when did you kind of hatch that? Was there anyone you did that with in San Francisco where you thought, okay, John can do those similar things, or when you saw John's skill set, you're like, let's try to use him in this?
No, so he's kind of in the mold of Eric Armstead of what we did in San Francisco with Eric Armstead, and different obviously, but similar in certain ways, but both effective in what they're asked to do.
Atlanta ruled out Ridley, obviously a very good player. How does that affect your game plan?
It's so late in the game. We may see some different personnel groupings. It doesn't really affect our game plan. It came in so late; things are already in. As as calling the game. Just that'll be stuff that you talk about over the next couple of days. But Ridley is a heck of a football player, but at the same time, they've still got a lot of weapons with Cordero Patterson, and he's rejuvenated. Matt Ryan can get the ball to anyone. That their draft pick, Kyle Pitts, is pretty freaking good. So it's a challenge. They got a lot of weapons over there.
Patterson's interesting guy. He's just an unusual player. I'm not sure if you faced him earlier in his career, but what are you seeing when you see what he's doing right now in Atlanta?
Someone with a role. Like he's always kind of been just a special teamer and goal ball guy, and now you see him out of the backfield, you see him catching screens, you see him running the football, you see him running routes. So I think Arthur and his staff has done such a fabulous job finding a role for him, and he's clearly become a weapon.
With Kyle, how much work you guys kind of knew what you were going to do, at 2, but did you do any work on Pitts, and what was kind of your takeaway on him?
We did. So we still went through it all. Every bit of deserving of that pick that he was selected at, and I think it was 4. And he's unique. He's going to be a major problem in years to come, especially as he's a rookie too, so he's learning the speed of the game and everything. But you can see it on tape and the flashes that he has. He's going to be a problem.
Robert, with Croft out, are you guys going to have to bring Yeboah up from practice squad, or how are you looking at tight end?
Yeah, so Yeboah will come up for Croft.
Coach, getting away from having the win last week and getting an opportunity to get away and bond the team and use it as to build on last week's result, or do you find coming to London a distraction?
No, anytime you're together with your teammates, I think it's cool. Whether we were home, here, on the road somewhere else in the States, it doesn't matter. We get to play this game. We get to show up to the facility and hang out with one another and do things and go through the grind together. And that's what I love about the character of this group. They actually enjoy being around each other. I've been on teams where they don't enjoy being around each other, and this group genuinely likes being around each other, and they're embracing every bit of this, and I'm just excited to see this team grow.
Can you tell at all, Robert, that I know you said these guys have kind of handled things the same way, everyone's kind of kept their head down, but can you tell there's a different feeling now that you've won a game?
It's the conversations are easier. Like we talked about it earlier. When you lose, you're a little bit more sensitive. So you got to be. You're trying not to offend anyone, but you want to have those hard conversations. And when you win, I was just excited, and I think I speak for the rest of the coaching staff. Just the reception that the players had, because there was no. I don't need that pat on the back. I want. How can I fix the mistake I made? And that was all. Vocalized, and it's been a great week in terms of just having those conversations, and they came to practice, and again another great week, and now it's just a matter of stacking it up and leave it all on the line on Sunday and let the chips fall where they may.
Robert, on Zach, what's your comfort level with him improvising like we saw last week? Do you want to see him a little bit more kind of game managing?
Now you just want him the ball. Those are the things that make those players special. There's I've said it up here before that like Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes, they get all this credit for throwing the ball deep and doing all that stuff, but they also play a game of game management, and they just wait for you. And so there's a feel that Zach is going to get, and you don't want to force a young man into put him in a box. We never want to do that, but the more he learns the game, the more he feels the speed of the game, the more he'll know exactly when to pick and choose his shots. And when he does, they're going to, just like Sunday, they'll be explosive. And so hopefully he learns faster.
Your defense had 100 snaps last week, and you count penalties too. Between that, is travel, jet lag, are you worried about fatigue at all on Sunday?
No, you obviously you want to care for the guys as the week goes, but again, it was something we talked about on Monday. They were very well aware that that there was over 100 snaps put on their shoulders, and especially a guy like CJ, who I think he took every snap. So the emphasis is, can you win Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday before you get on the plane, in terms of rejuvenating, getting hydration back in your body, getting proper nutrition and regen. So the guys have just been attacking the heck out of it, and that was what we talked about all week. Can you win these 4 days before you jump on the plane? And felt like they did a really good job with it.
Robert, on defense, no interceptions so far this year. Are you seeing anything that you could improve upon? I know Atlanta has talked about kind of their DBs attacking the ball more. Are you seeing anything like that, or have you offered any advice to the DBs?
No, it's it's part of it. Like right now, our corners are doing a heck of a job. Right, we play a certain style of man, and they'll so you see a lot of PBUs. You saw Bryce have three. I think he had three PBUs last week, and there's a time like the Jets, and it's a blessing.
The play in overtime where Zach threw the high ball to Keelan Cole on the sideline. It looked like he realized Tennessee wasn't lined up and hurried up. Is that 501 thinking there that you talk about, or like
That one, I would say that one's more progression, because he's just going through progression right there, and he sees the corners shorten the down, and he's got inside leverage. That's just understanding what calls you're going to get and going through. There's because he had his choice, Jameson for the first down or the big one, the Keelan. That's what he took. So, but that's trusting your footwork, trusting your eyes, trusting the space you see, and take the space that the defense has given you.
Yeah, Coach Saleh, especially with your background as a defensive coordinator, can you tell us about what you want your defense to be known for and what your cornerstones of that defense is?
Yeah. So we always talk about a style of play, and this is really for the whole team. Now that we're going as a defensive coordinator, all of it's all the same. We talk about playing with tremendous effort, tremendous technique, and extreme violence, and that doesn't just mean hit people. There's more to it than that. There's your hand placement, your footwork, all of it. But we always talk about when the lights are off, and it's just you in the room, and you're watching the silent tape, and you're just watching yourself play. What is that tape saying? What is it speaking? And we wanted to represent our style of play to the fullest degree, because when your opponent's watching in the dark and he's trying to study you, what are you telling him? And that's what we wanted to say.
Take one more right here.
Coach, it's your fourth time here in London, so you've been to Europe with the NFL lots of times. What do you think about the big interest in the NFL, and which seems to be growing and growing, because there's a discussion of a game in Germany next year maybe, so what do you think about that?
I'm biased. I know soccer, European football is considered the number one sport in the world. I think football is the best sport in the world in terms of just the energy, the fan base, the absolute love and passion fans have for it. It's especially in the States, and to see it growing internationally, and to see the interest just goes to show that this is a universal sport. And I think the goal is to hopefully get this brand growing worldwide, but I think it's pretty cool.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thanks, guys.